Hello, and welcome back to another lore video on Time Gaming. And today I'm going to be telling you about how FNAF World actually could be canon. So without further ado, let's begin with the video. So, for those of you who don't know who FNAF World is, FNAF World was the first spin-off of the game of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. It was made after Five Nights at Freddy's 4, since Scott Cawthon had intended at the time, for Five Nights at Freddy's 4 to be the final major FNAF game. So he made FNAF World as a spin-off. So yeah, that's enough with the explanation. So, first of all, I'm pretty sure what you're all wondering is, if FNAF World is canon, then what time would have taken place in? Well, and how on earth could it actually be canon? Well, and if it is canon, who is the protagonist? Well, I'm going to explain that all right here and right now. So yeah. First of all, the most important thing we're going to need to find out is the protagonist, because who the protagonist actually is, because that's going to bring us to find out who the other things as well. And I'm pretty sure the protagonist of FNAF World would be William Afton. No, I'm not, now I know. You might be asking, how on earth would William Afton be the protagonist of FNAF World? He isn't even familiar with the nightmares. And that's where you're wrong, because William Afton is actually the real protagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Now I know. You might be thinking, how could William Afton be the protagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's 4? Well, I already made a video describing that, so if you want to go take a look, if you want to find out, go take a look at that. I have that video linked in the description. So yeah. It was also my previous lore video. But yeah, basically in a nutshell, William Afton, after his son dies in the bite of 83, he starts having these nightmares. He goes to his son's room to sleep to mourn the death of his son, and he has these nightmares whenever he finally goes to sleep. So, yeah. Oh yeah, and another thing I forgot in my previous video is that I'm pretty sure the reason why the nightmare animatronics are like this, in fact, their design actually explains everything, because if you look really closely at the nightmares, it looks like their stomachs could open up and eat you. If you look at their design, right, their stomachs look like they could open up and eat you whole. And that's for a reason, because the only thing that could explain those design features was if it was referring to the bite of 83. Because in the bite of 83, Fredbear's mouth basically clamps down on the crying child and crushes him. So could explain the nightmares that could explain the design of the nightmare animatronics. So yeah, and also another reason why I believe the nightmare animatronics are like the way our nightmare animatronics is because they're Henry's design. They're not William Afton's design. They're Henry's design. That's why it doesn't have nightmares of the Funtime animatronics. It's having nightmares of the original animatronics, because they're Henry's design. He believes that it's Henry's fault that his son died, because it wasn't his part of design that failed. It was Henry's part of the design, the mechanical part of the design, that failed. So that's why it's the original FNAF animatronics, because he believed that it's Henry's fault. And therefore he absolutely hates Henry. But anyways, yeah, enough about FNAF 4. This is about FNAF World. So, anyways, these nightmare animatronics are believed to slowly take over William Afton's mind after the bite of 83. So logically, FNAF World would have taken place before the bite of 83. And here's another thing. Because the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 are a dream, right? So what if FNAF World is also a dream? What if FNAF World is also a dream? And I can prove that FNAF World is a dream. Because remember, in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, William Afton is very dreamful, so we have a dream every night. So there is no doubt that FNAF World could have been William Afton's dreams that he had before the bite of 83. Because after the bite of 83, the nightmares began to perpetuate into a nightmare. That is, the nightmares of Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And yeah, all the characters, they're installed this, and I believe that the FNAF World dreams actually inspired William Afton. They inspired him. They inspired William Afton's designs. Now, I know you might be thinking, why, what are you talking, well, what about the mediocre melodies? Aren't they somehow part of the lore back in that time too? Well, yes, but remember, they were never William Afton's idea. They were Henry's and Henry's. They were Henry's from the rival restaurant, Fredbear's Family Diner at the time, because it's believed that there was some around 1979-ish, there was a rival restaurant to Fredbear's Family Diner, which William Afton eventually bought out, and all of the assets of the rival restaurant, including the mediocre melody animatronics, become Fredbear's Family Diner. And it's believed that this is actually where Chica originated from. So it had to have taken place after 1979 or around the time of the rival restaurant, because Chica is in fact in there. Because Chica is in fact in his dreams. So in my opinion, I think that the FNAF World takes place somewhere between the buyout of the rival restaurant in 1879 and the bite of 83 in 1983. So I could just say probably sometime in the early 1980s. Okay, now we know that FNAF World. Now we know that FNAF World could be canon, but Foxy.X couldn't be canon. Could it? Well, this one's a little a little bit different. Because in Foxy.X minigame we see characters from FNAF 2, which couldn't have been there in the dream unless the dream took place after. So that means that if Foxy.X was canon, it would have had to take place in 1987 or later. Because Freddy and Foxy.X in this minigame are basically just rebrandings of Withered Foxy and Withered Freddy. So I think that Foxy.X could actually be canon. In fact, I believe that Foxy.X is a reminiscent. One time, William Afton had this dream of him being in Foxy.X because the Foxy.X minigame is a reminiscent of the dreams that William Afton used to have. However, now it's more attuned to his nightmarish dreams. But it's nevertheless still reminiscent of the original FNAF World dreams, because of the protagonist because of the character we play as is going to be a FNAF World character, as well as the existence of Adventure Bonnie. And now, the cat is not entirely explainable. And I have two potential theories as to why the cat is there. My first theory is that the cat was an Afton family pet, and which would have made sense, and William Afton would have probably known the cat well. However, there is another possibility as well, because it is believed that Susie, the spirit who would come to possess Chica, is believed that Susie had a pet who was a dog, and Susie's dog it was believed that Susie's dog would come to possess the Mr. Cupcake. But what if Susie's dog wasn't a dog? What if Susie's dog was actually a cat? And yeah, that's another possibility as well. So I believe that Foxy.X would have taken place sometime around 1987, and basically are just a reminiscent of the dreams that William Afton used to have, and then soon after. And so I believe it would have taken place soon after William Afton had come into FNAF 2 and messed with the animatronics and stuff using the spring Bonnie suit. It would have taken place right after that, and would have basically been reminiscent of the dreams that William Afton used to have before the Bite of 83. But soon that dissipates, and the nightmares of FNAF 4 return to haunt William Afton's nightmares. And okay, and there's one last mini game, Freddy in Space. Now I know you might be asking, come on, Freddy in Space couldn't be canon. It's an arcade game. Oh wait a minute. Actually, FNAF Freddy in Space could actually be canon as well, and let me explain. Because we know that William Afton was a very creative person, so Freddy in Space could have been, in fact, an arcade game that William Afton wanted to make, but didn't actually ever get around to making. Because the technology of the time of Fred Fazbear's Family Diner wasn't advanced enough to make it the arcade game that he wanted. So as a result, he wasn't able to make it. So yeah, and there's your explanation of how FNAF World could be canon. Oh, sure, some parts of it probably aren't canon. I've just explained how most of FNAF World could actually be canon. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you liked today's video or found today's video helpful, then please don't forget to like and, as always, subscribe. It really helps. Bye-bye for now.